Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of Pettit's Puck Talk. I'm Zach Pettit here with Jeffrey Job, and one thing I want to do before we get started here is just go ahead and plug Radford social media. You can follow Radio Free Radford on Twitter at Radio Free Raddy, and you can also follow them on Instagram at Radio Free Radford, and the same plug for Facebook. So make sure you give them a follow. They can make everything here possible. But without further ado, how you doing, Jeff?
A little groggy, one of those Mondays.
Yeah, I hear you. Same here.
Glad to be in an academic building doing something I care about for once.
A little beat up after the playoff run there.
Yeah, parents aren't listening, so concussions haven't been too kind to me.
Before we get started here, I just want to let you guys know we're bringing on Jeff's brother again. He's been pretty good at giving his input and having pretty thoughtful insights, so we'll be getting him later on. But our first topic here today, Joel Ward has announced his retirement officially from the NHL. Played a total of 11 NHL seasons, tallying 133 goals and 304 points over 726 games played. So
that's not bad for a third, fourth liner.
No,
that's pretty solid.
Yeah, he I guess his last season was 2017-18 with San Jose, where he played 52 games. I don't know if injuries got the best of him or if he was just getting old.
Yeah, I thought he was honestly playing this year.
No, he hasn't played at all this year. But yeah, I don't think he ever won a cup. I know he played between Washington and San Jose, maybe a little bit in Nashville, was it too? Montreal? I can't remember.
No, I don't think it was St. Louis. I don't know, I thought he had somewhere in the middle before those two, but maybe not.
Yeah. But yeah, so pretty big news, I guess.
Boston fans never liked him. But, that's on them.
That's just how it is. Moving into our next story, New Jersey Devils goaltender Cory Schneider has snapped his 14-month winless streak, and yes, you heard that right.
Love to see it.
Schneider had been winless since December 27th of 2017, going 0-17-4 in that span. But last Friday, with a win over Minnesota, Schneider earned his first win in over a year. He came in goal with the Devils down 4-0 and blocked all 15 shots to earn New Jersey a 5-4 win. So they came from behind. I mean,
I gotta see that game. Did you watch it?
No, but I feel like when you're pulling your goalie after a 4-0, like you're not really expecting to win.
Yeah,
that's got to be pretty huge for his confidence alone.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's gotta be game of the year up there.
Yeah,
I mean it's gonna be tough to beat that Chicago Maple Leaf one, but
yeah,
still.
that was sweet. But I saw pictures. They gave him like, the helmet that the Devils wear. They give to like the most valuable player of the game. It's like that yellow one with the red. They gave him that helmet after the game, and he looked happy. And I mean, hopefully he turns it around. I know he got another win yesterday because
he did.
Played him in DraftKings. So they beat the Sabres 4-1. So maybe he's getting back to his old ways. Has your brother said when he wants to come on yet?
Yeah, he's gonna Cam Talbot.
Saws, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. From one streak to another, Patrick Kane's point streak is something we need to talk about. Kane is on a 17-game point streak, the longest active streak in the NHL. He also set a record of most consecutive games with an assist by passing Stan Mikita's record of 14 games, and he is currently at 16. Whoa. So he's been playing hot. He's trying to help with the playoff push that Chicago's pursuing there.
Gretzky have the record at 82.
Oh, no. I'm sure, probably. But either way, impressive stuff from Patrick Kane. What do you think? You think Chicago makes playoffs?
Yeah.
I think so, too. It's really close out there in the West right now.
I mean, they're playing hot. They're not going to stay this hot the whole way through, but they're definitely heating up when they need to.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They're heating up at the right time, getting that momentum they need before playoffs.
Kane's playing like he actually wanted to play in the NHL, not sit behind a cab.
And I think I don't know how Jonathan Toews is doing, but I know we talked about Dylan Strome a couple weeks ago. He's been fitting in really well in that lineup. I just think if they do get to playoffs and they do make it that far, I think their D might be too old. I mean, you've got Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith, just to name two. I know they got Gustafsson, who's pretty young.
Yeah, they may be okay for like first, second round, but
yeah,
I mean, I don't even think they're up there to go that deep.
I don't either.
At the same time,
I would just like to see them make it because original 6 team, they weren't in it last year. It'd be cool to see them make it again.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's not making it, so you gotta get as many as you can in there.
Exactly. But yeah, Patrick Kane putting up impressive numbers. He also had didn't he have I thought he had a really impressive point streak a couple years ago too, wasn't it like?
Yeah.
Or I might be thinking of when Chicago had like that 26-game point streak, like when they were
just winning every
Yeah,
game.
or at least going to overtime.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that was, but anyways, moving in our next story, Joe, I think you're gonna like this one. The Niagara Ice Dogs of the Ontario Hockey League have been fined for league violations. The OHL claims that they had a violation of player recruitment policies, and because of that, they have been fined $250,000 and lost their first-round selections at the 2019 and 2021 OHL priority drafts. The league did not provide details of what the offense was, but I mean, I think for me, as well as everybody else that sees this, you're thinking players were probably getting paid under the table.
Oh, big time.
Little London Knights shout out.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of this?
Definitely money. I mean, what else are you going to be giving them? Maybe for the Flyers, you might give them a little, the classic viewers here know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely money. I don't know how much, or I mean, if it was only $250,000, maybe not a lot. Maybe it was just for a few players, but I don't know. They're definitely trying to compete with the Knights right now.
Yeah, and the Knights also in the OHL have had allegations about paying players, which is why we're making these jokes.
Yeah,
but
Max Domi's making the least amount of money he's ever made right now.
The Ice Dogs have denied all allegations and plan to appeal the ruling. I feel like that's something you just do on the PR side of things, so it doesn't look as bad as it is.
Yeah, like just folding over.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Yeah, that's really all we got for that story. We're going to go to Job's brother now to get his thoughts on our next two topics.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, you're live. All right, so Zach, our next topic.
Next, we're going to be talking about the trade that happened last week between Philadelphia and Edmonton. Cam Talbot straight up for Anthony Stolarz. James, I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Okay. At first glance, I was a little confused by this, but I kind of see it when you actually look at their numbers and what they were. Talbot has a history of being a decent goalie, but he's kind of struggling this year. Meanwhile, Stolarz was supposed to be a good goalie prospect, and then he hasn't really panned out. So I see this as kind of a change of scenery move for both these goalies. The only thing that kind of stands out as odd, though, is that Talbot has a very much larger cap hit than Stolarz does. So I'm kind of wondering whether something bigger is happening where Philadelphia is trying to free cap space or Edmonton's trying to free cap space. I don't.
What's Cam Talbot on right now?
It's like 4 something, but Stolarz is making under $1 million.
Okay, but Carter Hart is the starter. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. So what would they need? Like, what would their reasoning be for getting Talbot?
I mean, with the guy with Hart, he is super, super young. And with goalies like this, they can continue to play like this, or all of a sudden they'll just play they'll start playing bad again.
DPHO.
Yeah.
So, with someone this young, I'm surprised he's in the NHL this early. He's that young where I'm kind of like, did they really want to bring him up this early? Because I think, what is he, only 20?
Yeah, he's 20, that's right.
I haven't seen a goalie come in this early in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the last time...
Was
Marc-Andre Fleury might be
and
he came in at 18, but that might be the last time you saw a goalie that's this good come in and just kind of take over like that. One thing I read was that Talbot and Carter Hart, they actually work out together in Edmonton over the summers, so this might be like a mentor kind of situation, because, Talbot has experience. Where did he play before Edmonton, where he was...
New York.
Islanders? Or
he
backed up Lundqvist. Are you talking about, who are you talking about?
Talbot,
when he backed up Lundqvist.
Yeah, so he's definitely got playoff experience. So I think that might be another motive for Philadelphia to pick him up.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And then Talbot's kind of not the best starter, but definitely a starter. So maybe kind of take some of the weight off of Hart, so they can share it a little more and develop him more too.
And I think it puts Talbot behind I don't want to say Philadelphia's defense is good, but they're better than Edmonton's defense.
Exactly.
So it puts
most teams' defenses are better than Edmonton's.
Yeah, most AHL teams' defenses are better than Edmonton's. But, I think for Philly, this was really like a move for the playoffs, as well as developing Carter Hart into a better goalie. But, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
No, I think that's pretty much it. Well, who do you think won the trade?
I mean, it depends which aspect you want to look at it from. If you want to think about what James had to say, as in like freeing cap space, because I mean, Cam Talbot doesn't make or break Edmonton, so
Right.
by freeing up that cap space, they get themselves a decent backup who can stay there, and they still have Koskinen, who they just re-signed, so he's going to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they get a better goalie and then send Stolarz down to the AHL for development or what they're going to do, but
That's a good point. I don't know what their plans are with him.
yeah, I don't really know who you. I mean, I think you'll have to wait till the end of the season to see how deep of a if Philadelphia makes the playoffs, how deep of a run they make to say who really won the story.
Yeah.
Or
Who's
the trade.
Edmonton's? I'm looking up who Edmonton's third goalie is.
I have no clue. Yeah, that's
It would have been Al Montoya.
that's a name I haven't
So
heard in a while.
he has
Yeah.
NHL experience. Obviously.
That's the Edmonton third?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Edmonton's
So
third
he's the
goalie right now
backup
is
now.
Al Montoya.
So, James, who do you think won that trade?
It's way too early to tell. Talbot's going to be a free agent. I think Edmonton's just kind of... Shit.
Is Philly making the playoffs?
Can you hold on a sec?
Yeah, we got you. I think
Alright.
Philly makes the playoffs. I mean, the way they've been playing lately, and we'll get into that later in the show and who's hot and who's not, but they've been doing really good in this ever since All-Star break ended, really. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see. But while we're waiting for him to get back, let's just move into the trade deadline. Trade deadline happens next Monday, February 25th. Who are some of the big names that you expect to see go?
Kovalchuk in DC.
Yeah, you think he's going to Washington?
Love to see it. That'd be sick.
That would be sick, but I don't think it's happening.
Dump him off in the offseason, pick up Datsu.
All right, I'm back.
Okay,
All right,
you're
well,
good.
we're just talking about the deadline now.
Okay, well,
Is that
I
when you,
haven't really been paying very much attention to these rumors, so...
what were you
but-
telling me about? Was that the Kovalchuk thing you told me? Was that about the
Well,
deadline?
yeah, I saw something on Facebook about Kovalchuk possibly being traded, or that he was waiving his no-trade clause or something like that, or I don't know. I don't know what I saw, but there was some speculation about Kovalchuk being traded. Please look into this yourselves, to the 10 people listening to this.
Well, wait, where could you see him going?
Well, if he goes to New Jersey, I will be very upset because I feel like that's kind of collusion, but
Yeah, he should
I
have just
don't
came
really
back
know
to
if
the
that.
league 5
So
years
I'm
ago.
looking at the playoff odds right now, and I mean, what's his cap is at what?
Like
for Kovalchuk?
6.25.
So it have to be a team where they have that kind of cap space, and they're still in a position where they're probably Flyers have $7 million, or Flyers have $8 million. Caps have 8.5. Montreal has 10.
Ooh,
Colorado
Montreal.
has 11.5. New Jersey, who I really hope he doesn't go to for obvious reasons, 13.7 million, and Carolina has 16 million in cap space.
Now, I googled Kovalchuk trade deadline, and the name I'm seeing all over this search is the New York Islanders.
Okay, well,
Whoa,
So,
for Kovalchuk,
yeah,
that'd be nasty. Him and Barzell on the power play.
yeah.
That'd be pretty gross.
But I don't know. That'd be kind of cool to get him because they're going to the playoffs for sure. They've been
Yeah.
dominating all season. And then if they had him at the deadline, like,
That'd be nasty.
might be Islanders Cup this year.
Sheesh.
Well,
Mike
I
Bossy
see-
throwback. What?
I mean, they definitely have the cap space for it.
How much do they have available?
9.9 million.
Oh yes, they'd be straight. And then, what would they have to give out for something like that?
He's not playing well, so
Maybe just a first, if that.
Not
I don't.
first.
I don't even think. I don't even know. Hold on. What is he doing? I know he's doing bad. I just want to see how bad he's doing.
Pretty bad. I remember earlier in the season he was only getting like 7 minutes of ice time a night at
Oh,
one
yeah, that
point,
was bad.
and I was like, dude,
Well, he has 12 goals in 48 games.
yeah.
Yikes! I told everyone he was getting 40 goals.
Hey, you still got
I said he was getting.
30 games.
I think first pod of the year I said he was getting 30 even strengthers. All right, what are some other big names you think are going around?
Well, I mean, we talked about Panarin and Bobrovsky, and I still think Panarin's going to move for sure. The question is where. I mean, I hear Boston a lot. I hear Chicago a lot. I don't really hear any other names other than that, but I think there's a lot of possibilities of where he could go.
I mean, it really depends for Panarin what he wants more. Between winning and money, or just going home. Home quote Chicago.
Yeah. So, who do you think are the big buyers
For Panarin?
just in general for the playoffs?
Oh, for like shopping at the deadline?
Yeah.
I think the Islanders are definitely up there because
Yeah.
now that they don't have Tavares, they've got the space to pick somebody up.
And they're playing well enough to where they could make a push.
Yeah, and then I don't really know who else. I guess Montreal probably too because they're gonna make playoffs. I think, and they don't really. I mean, they don't have a super expensive player on their roster right now that they.
Yeah.
So I think those two probably from the East. I would say, from the West, I really have no clue. Obviously not San Jose. They've got too many people on that roster.
They're set.
Yeah.
Like them, the Maple Leafs are set.
Yeah.
Obviously Tampa's gonna be set.
It'd be crazy if Tampa Bay played Calgary again in the finals.
That could happen. That's not that
They're the
crazy.
they have the two highest chance to make the playoff percentages.
Where do you think Duchesne's going?
Oh, that's a very interesting topic that I wanted to talk about. I don't know. Maybe
what's his cap? It can't be that much.
Matt Duchesne salary. Matt Duchesne's cap $6 million.
Hope Ted Leonsis is listening.
You know where I could see him going is like Carolina.
Are they?
I could see that.
Are they playoff?
Yes.
No, Duchesne. No one wants Duchesne. Have you seen the way he's been playing?
He's not. He's been having a decent year.
He's like one of Ottawa's only players. He doesn't really have much to work with. Mark Stone, Brady Tkachuk. But isn't Mark Stone a center too? Or is he a winger?
I think he's a winger.
All right, well, Duchesne's doing better than I thought he was.
Yeah,
Who am I picking them?
He's having a pretty solid season. I mean, he doesn't want to stay in Ottawa. That's clear.
Yeah. He's going to be a UFA, right?
I think so. I'm not. Let's see. Yeah, he's a UFA.
I could see him in Carolina.
That's what I think too. But I don't know. I mean, it'd be sick to see him in Pittsburgh, but I know that's not happening.
I could see him as one of the. I mean, obviously they have to dump someone off, right?
Yeah, and the question is who. But
and he's not even close to like Kessel's level, so they would never get rid of him or anyone, or not like Hornquist.
It would probably be like Bugstad and somebody else to get Duchesne, but I wouldn't even want to see that.
Yeah, just because you just lose him in a month anyway.
And then I'm trying to think of other big names that. I mean, we covered all the ones I was thinking of, but there's got to be more out there. Are there any goalies now that Talbot's gone, or like?
Well, Bobrovsky was going to go to Florida, so I don't know if Edmonton will be looking at that.
Yeah. So I'm on NHL.com. Oh, Wayne Simmons if Philadelphia is still trying to move him or not?
James, do you know anything about Wayne Simmons?
I'm on HF boards right now. I can look.
I'm reading the Bruins might want Wayne Simmons.
That'd be sick.
That would be cool, but I just don't see. I don't see it. I mean, I guess anything could happen at the trade deadline, but I don't see Philly trading to the Bruins.
No, not a chance. But also, I feel like the Bruins. Oh no, obviously I'd rather have Panarin than Simmons.
And then I also think Mark Stone, like along with Matt Duchesne, I think he wants out of Ottawa too. And I don't know where he would go either. But if they're looking to add Panarin and they don't get Panarin,
they could go after Wayne.
Stone. The Bruins I'm talking about, yeah. They could go after Stone for sure.
Are there any big D-men that could...
Did you see the thing about the Caps?
No, what was that?
McClellan said that the Caps are, quote, active in trade discussions.
Just in general?
And that he believes that there are hockey trades to be made.
For D, I'm seeing Marco Scandella from the the Sabres, but that's not like a big name.
Yeah, I mean, Musson already moved
Yeah. Jimmy Howard, I think, is possibly up too.
out of Detroit.
Yeah. Oh no, never mind. They probably want him back. But anyways, I think we've really covered all we can about the trade deadline.
Yeah. All right, James. Well, we appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, man. We
All right,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
All right, see ya.
So moving from the trade deadline into milestones, we got a couple big names to talk about. First up, Chris Letang has passed Paul Coffey to hold the Pens record for most goals and points scored by a defenseman now. He had the points scored by a defenseman earlier in the year, and he just got more goals scored now.
Was Gonchar up there?
I don't think so. I don't know.
He played with the Caps a while too, so it's
Yeah.
not like he spent his whole career there like those two.
Yeah, but he passed the record with an empty netter in Pittsburgh's 4-1 win over Philadelphia last Monday. Next up on the milestone list, we have Joe Thornton, who passed Gordie Howe and Teemu Selanne last week. Thornton has passed Howe on the NHL all-time assist list for 9th place, and he also passed Selanne for all-time points in the NHL with 1,458 for 15th place. So, best player to never win the Cup, Joe Thornton.
Definitely up there.
Yeah, I feel like top 3, probably.
Yeah, I mean, besides Lundqvist, probably most active.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's played a ton of games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got like over 1,500 games, I think. And he's probably going to break more records before the end of the year. Like, that's insane. It could be his last season.
Yeah, I'd like to see him win a cup.
Yeah.
I was thinking, would he get shopped around? But San Jose are big contenders, especially with their decor.
Yeah. Next up on the milestone list, we have Austin Matthews, who reached 100 goals last week. He scored 2 goals in Toronto's 6-3 win over Vegas to earn him goal 100 and 101 of his career in just 187 games played. A little note, he's got 101 goals, 84 assists, and 185 points, so he's averaging just under a point a game.
Solid.
Yeah, pretty solid. Toronto's definitely somebody to watch out for in the playoffs this year. Next up on the list, we got another Penguin. Phil Kessel's reached 800 career points. He reached 800 points with an assist in Pittsburgh's 5-4 loss to Calgary. And then following him, another American, Ryan Miller, is now the winningest U.S.-born goalie in the NHL. He made 23 saves in a 5-2 win over Washington last night to earn his 375th career win.
Is he their starter?
No, Gibson is, but Gibson's injured right now.
Oh, okay.
The win breaks the tie with John Van Beesbrook to earn Miller the spot for all-time leader in wins by a U.S.-born goalie. So, I remember earlier in the year we were talking about that, how he became like second a couple of weeks ago or months ago or whatever, and then we were talking about how close he was getting. So it's good to see him break that. A lot of Americans on that milestone list.
Yeah, you love to see it.
You really do. Now we're going to move into injuries, and this list got pretty deep. David Pastrnak, he's on the IR with a thumb injury. Apparently he slipped on an ice cube at like a team function.
Is this a joke?
No.
Come on, Pasta.
So he's on the IR. They hope to get him back before the end of the season. I think he'll definitely be back for playoffs. I don't see him sitting out the playoffs with a thumb injury.
No, not a chance.
James Neal is day-to-day with a lower body injury. Did you see you saw the video of him losing those chiclets, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what he's out with?
No, he's out with the lower body, but that's going to suck to get repaired.
Yeah.
Next up on the list, Jonathan Bernier, Detroit's backup. He's day-to-day with an upper body injury. Another goalie, Roberto Luongo, he's day-to-day for personal reasons. Pavel Zacha of the Devils is day-to-day with an upper body injury. And I usually wouldn't include 3 players from the same team, but this is also the first time I've ever seen this. Neil Pionk, Brady Skjei, and Jesper Fast, all of the Rangers are day-to-day. Pionk with an eye injury, Skjei with a knee injury, and Fast with an illness.
Oh, is the eye injury from when Crosby?
Yeah. So
Flick of the wrist.
I don't know how long that's going to take. It could just be something like a scratch cornea, which I'm sure is all it is.
Yeah.
Next up on the list, we got TJ Oshie, who's day-to-day with an upper body injury. And last but not least, Dustin Byfuglien from Winnipeg, day-to-day with a lower body injury. So yeah, hopefully those guys get well soon and build your lineups accordingly. Now we're gonna move into who's hot and who's not.
Oh, St. Louis.
I know, wagon.
Unreal.
First up on the hot list, as you heard Job say, St. Louis on a 10-game winning streak, 10-0-0 over their last 10 played. So they're definitely making that playoff push. A team that was in the bottom of the ranks even at the midway point of the season. Next up, we got Tampa Bay on a 5-game winning streak, 7-2-1 over their last 10. They've been killing it all season, so no surprises there. Next on the list, we got Boston at a 5-game winning streak, 7-0-3 over their last 10. Same situation as Tampa Bay for the most part. Second to last, we got Carolina on a 3-game winning streak, 8-2-0 over their last 10. And then Philadelphia, a 3-game winning streak, 8-1-1 over their last 10. So
no really big surprises.
No, besides St. Louis.
I
really.
mean, I'm surprised it's like perfect 10 in a row, but besides that, I mean, they've been heating up for a while now.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to see them on the list. I was shocked to see that. I didn't even know they were like on an 8 or 7 game.
Yeah,
already
they
up
were.
to 10.
I think when we met last Monday, they were at 6 or 7.
That makes sense.
Not moving into not so hot.
Well, first I already looked at this list, and you don't see Detroit on it, so I'm not going to rag on Porterfield, but they're not in the hot list either, so I'm still going to do it. So Porterfield, you hate to see it.
First on the not so hot list, we got Edmonton, 4-game losing streak, 1-7-2 over their last 10. It's only 1 game won in their last 10 games. Second up, we got Montreal on a 3-game losing streak, and they're 4-4-2 over their last 10. So they need to get things under control.
Better pick up Kovalchuk.
Yeah. And then last on the list, not necessarily doing so bad in the losing streak department, only on a 1-game losing streak, but Colorado is 1-6-3 over their last 10 games. So
are they even in a spot anymore?
yeah, they are, I think. But you want to talk about a team that had a hot start and then just dropped off after like 20 games in.
Buffalo?
Well, Buffalo too, but Colorado for sure. That's just crazy to me that they're doing that bad. I'm actually going to look up the standings right now and see if they're in a spot. But I'm pretty sure they're holding a wild card spot, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, because Rantanen was having like 2 assists a game for like the first 25 games.
Well, that line, Rantanen, Landeskog, and McKinnon, they were the first line in the NHL to reach 100 points, collectively. But that's their problem, is after that line, it doesn't get much deeper. It's pretty steep drop-off. And my internet isn't working, so I can't tell you the standings. But
shout out Radford Devices.
Yeah, we appreciate it. But that was all we had for you guys today. So thanks for listening. Job, you got anything to add before we sign off here?
Surprised we're still live.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to catch us back here next week at the same time, because we're going to have a lot of news with the trade deadline being that day. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people moved, a lot of names you didn't expect, a lot of names we didn't expect. So thanks for listening.